All right, I call meeting Northumberland County Economic Development Commission for April 15th, 2025 to order at 6 o'clock. We have a quorum, so we will, yes. Okay. Any discussion, changes, edits needed? None? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Review the meeting notes from March 2025. I will take a motion to approve the meeting notes from the March.
Second.
Okay, any discussion, changes, edits? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Commissioner's Corner. Maurice, we'll start with you.
I finally got around to spending many hours on the grant environment out there. It's not what I would call a finished product at this point, because at some point my eyes got crossed.
Okay, well, that one will hold for current projects.
If you want.
Yeah.
You had asked me to get started on that.
I did, and I want to talk about it, but I just want it like for the commissioner stuff, just go around on that, and then we'll come back to the current project. So thank you. I'm not,
Outside of that,
okay. You're gonna have a new business opening soon.
Yeah.
They've been making progress on the building.
Well,
Wait, is that you or is that two?
No, that's me, but we just haven't figured out what to do with it yet. You're talking about the new barn that's behind the Walgreens, right?
No, I'm talking about the furniture replace across from,
No,
no, that's not you, that was Lynn's.
That's
Okay.
Lynn's, yeah.
Sorry.
But but observing those folks daily, they're doing a good job.
They really are.
They are, and I tell you what, I give them credit on, they covered the sign up real quick so that they, while they were getting the finishing touches. District One's report is pretty brief, really. I had a discussion with Lisa Dietz to try to just get a pulse check of what's going on with the park, which she has just been in that group. They have really championed getting that thing through. They have got 3 major fundraisers that they're working on in the next 3 months. One of them will be hosting it at the event center there. And they are meeting with an architect to finalize the plans for what they want to do with the entrance on it and everything. So they're making good, steady progress. Of course, the amount of funding that they're getting from the county is very minuscule. So it's basically, they're having to raise funds for this as a private, I guess they're a 501c3.
Yeah, they are.
And we do have a new business out of the ashes of an old business closing. Some of you guys remember the Callio Car Center that was owned by John Newsom, who's a great guy, been there for a lot of years, was owned by his father before that. He wanted to take up farming and spend less time doing car stuff. And the fellow that worked for him, a fellow by the name of Ken Holmberg, who's a really nice guy, has decided to take it on as a hybrid. So it's still going to be operating under the Callio Car Center, but basically it's going to be like a consignment shop, which I think is great because, people have a hard time selling their used vehicles instead of, having to deal with all the funny people on Facebook and everything. They'll be able to go right there. They can pay a affordable consignment fee on their car and hopefully find the right buyer for it. So, again, we lost one, but we gained one. So it's a net zero. But
That's only for hybrid cars? Is that?
no, no, and I don't think you'll see any of those there. It's still very conservative there. We did have one new building, in case you guys get any questions on it. The event center, you all have been there, that where it butts up to the Walgreens. The Amish have finished the barn up there. They did a really wonderful job. It is zoned commercial. I'm not quite sure what I want to do with it yet. I'd like to see something that's going to benefit the community, some form of business of some sort. But so we'll have to kind of organically see where that's going. But other than that, everything's status quo in Callio.
where is that located?
Right behind the Walgreens in there. And Amish did a really good job. And I'll tell you, I will say this on public record. Those people, without a doubt, probably the best craftsmen I have ever seen, or not. Very pleased with their work.
All right, in my district, got a bunch of new gravel on the roads. So VDOT was down that way. Supposedly broadband is down there too now. Supposedly Breezeline put in fiber optics. I haven't gotten, they did it I think, over the last 8 or 9 months, but I haven't actually seen any notices for signing up, but they,
Breeze line at all points.
it says Breeze Line.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think they were trying to compete with, and it's definitely fiber optics, but no one's gotten any notices yet that it's available, so I'm not 100% sure what's going on with that. And then we had, somebody's looking to, the daycare center, they're trying to open up in the Boys and Girls Club, so.
Oh, that's
Yep.
good.
Yep, there was a public hearing on it last week, there were a lot of people there in support of it, so.
Good.
Hopefully they'll be able to get that all off the ground. Hello, darling. They'll be able to get that all off the ground. And
Was there, Karen, was there, just quick note, was there any opposition to it? Or anything?
it was all support. There
Good.
was a lot of people there too,
Good.
right? I didn't stay through the whole thing.
It was 25, 30 people probably in person, and there was 60 people online
Yeah.
at that meeting. 4 or 5 people got exposed, including, 2 local ministers that were very supportive of having.
That's great.
Yep, so I think that's gonna be.
So that will take place of what they were going to do with having like a community commercial kitchen rental that was in
No,
there.
no, that was, no, this
That's
is the
different
Boys and
deal.
Girls Club old building that's over in Burgess.
Oh,
Yeah, it's the one that's over,
Behind
behind the cow, yeah,
Dr. Fina's office.
yeah.
oh.
No, you're thinking of, yeah.
Yeah, no,
So
okay.
this is what they're gonna do with that property.
Okay, good. Thanks for clarifying that. Good.
Let's see, Commissioner's Corner, anything new? I know you're calling, and we just walked in, sorry.
Yeah.
All right, we'll come back. All right, Bob, on to executive director items.
Okay, several items, a lot of movement going on in different areas. The American Junior Golf Association tournament, they're very well. A lot of good publicity for them. The Rappahannock record did a front spread for them on the 2nd of April. Really good document for them. Right now, they have 79 players who have enrolled with a max capacity of 96. And this is international. They had some kids who registered all the way from Shanghai, China.
Wow.
So this thing is really, Steve Matheson, who's kind of helping run, is one of the key people working for that. He said it's really impressive how this thing is going.
Have they decided where they're gonna put us for the Sunday, the opening?
No, in fact, no,
Okay,
I haven't brought that up because there's still time.
I know, I just wanna,
Yeah.
make sure we get dibs, because
Yep, absolutely.
we've been meeting with them for a while.
That, I don't think that'll be a problem. either,
Okay.
Yeah. The next thing I'm gonna work on is getting the AJGA map or website, which they already have, and they already talk about the tournament here. Putting our Do Stay Eat link on the AJGA link as well. I'll share with you guys by email. I'll send you all the link for the AJGA website, just so you can see what it is, the information they're putting on there. The key is getting the information out. On that note, I toured a couple restaurants. I went to Fawn's, probably one of my favorite cafes. I
Yeah.
love going to Fawn's. And I talked to her and I says, hey, there's a golf tournament coming up. And her point was, thanks for letting me know. That gives me an opportunity to prepare and get ready for the surge that we may encounter. So I would offer to you all, if you can, spread the word, let the people know about the tournament coming up, so that these restaurants could plan for it as well too.
So one of the things that, if you guys remember, that we're gonna do with the booth that we have, right, so we're all gonna have to take shifts that first day, because I know I won't be able to be there the whole day. So when people come in, we're gonna have our antique map, right, we've got the antique trail map, the thrift store map, there's another flyer that we're gonna create, so we're gonna have a table with stuff there that people, can find stuff, the kayak brochures. So we're gonna want each of us to take a turn at that table to welcome the people coming in, and then sharing a little bit of information, and then, so what we could do, depending on if businesses want, I mean, we've got our Eat, Stay, Play,
Do Stay Eat
map. That will have a lot of information, but there's nothing, if we have restaurants, like if Fawn's wants us to put a brochure there, or if somebody wants us to put, I don't see any reason we can't.
Yeah.
So as you go out and talk to people about this and letting them know it's coming, what may not be a bad idea is everyone should have the publicity that the team gave us, right? If we've got that on our shared drive, then we've all got it. It's probably not a bad idea when you're walking around doing your grip and grin to give that to folks, particularly any restaurants or hotels, so they've got it just in case. And then it's early, it's still early, but at least if we get people aware that it's there. And because I think, they're still looking for whole sponsors or no? Did they get them all covered?
I'll check and make sure. I don't think they have them all covered.
Because if not, that's an opportunity.
Yeah.
It's only
Bob, is that what you have in your hand, what
No.
you're referring
No,
to?
that's
This is
the
another.
job fair.
Oh, okay.
I'll post it. I don't think I have everything posted, but I'll post it. and I'll-
You've got 3 documents in
Okay.
the Indian Creek thing.
And so for everyone to remember, the dates are June 22nd through the 27th. So it'll be that Sunday. And when we get to current stuff, I want to talk to you guys about the thing on the 21st, because I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to pull it off, but it'll be that Sunday is when we'll do the opening. So the 22nd is when we'll need everybody for shifts. I'm not aware of any other volunteer opportunities unless you individually want to go do something for them. And then I think the closing of it is the 27th.
Yes.
Yeah, so the question is, for sure, people will be in the weekend before. It's unclear if people will stay for the weekend after. So it's a possibility for two
But you,
weekends.
Karen, you're saying you would need all of us to be available on the
On the
22nd
22nd,
to run the shift. I think that's a great idea.
right, because they're gonna have, what they explained to us anyway was there's a certain period of time when all the golfers come in, like everybody checks in.
Mhm.
And we're gonna have a booth. We're gonna have a table and a tent.
Yeah.
With 2 chairs and all this stuff, right? So we can, as the EDC, we'll welcome them to the county, right? Share information with them. But also for people who are looking for stuff to do, particularly free stuff to do, we've got the different maps that we have, the trails, and then we've got our QR code. So, the young people can scan the QR code and have it done, everybody else can have a handout. And so if they're gonna, I don't know how long registration's open, but let's say it opens at 10 and closes at 6, there's no way I'm covering the full day.
Sure.
So we'll each need to take turns.
And the 22nd is a Saturday,
It's
is
a
it?
Sunday.
It's a Sunday.
It's a Sunday.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
Yeah, the 21st is the Saturday, which is
I know it's probably in the documentation, but can we verify the location for this?
the Indian Creek Yacht Club, Indian Creek Yacht and Country Club.
I thought it was gonna cover more territory. Anyway, okay.
No, the golf tournament itself is at the Indian Creek Yacht and Country Club.
It's earmarked as the better event between that and the Masters that you just saw this weekend, so stands to be a really big event. Okay, so this will be continually evolving. I'll keep updating. If I could have you pass this around. The next thing is Northumberland County High School Summer Hire Events. Let me tell you, that thing has become really a really big thing. Like, I don't know how a better way to say it. Bottom line is we got 23 businesses who have signed up. It's the school's intent to try and get 40 businesses there. We've got National Guard there. We have all kinds of different agencies. I'm passing around the brochure that Jacob McAlvin Bay Consortium Workforce had created. He's done a bang up job. Between him and the school board, they've done, and the Northumberland School, they've done a great job. Stacy did come and talk to the board of supervisors and gave them information about that, which was very beneficial too.
And I have to say thank you, Bob. You've
Thank
been
you,
leading
Bob.
this for us and you've done a phenomenal job.
Yes.
We've
yes.
got Jacob there, right? Jake, the VR people
Yeah.
are gonna be there. So the school's very excited. I will remember to bring the tablecloths. And so thank you, Bob, for leading this on behalf of the EDC. It's really important for them to get to know you as their permanent kind of person. So thank you for the job you're doing on this.
Yeah, no problem. And it's really worked out well having a person like Jacob who, he just took
Yeah.
the bull by the horn, just started handling things really well. So it made my job easier too.
And I thanked, I saw the assistant superintendent, the current acting superintendent at the board of supervisors meeting, and I made sure to thank her for all the help they're doing, and Travis too. Dr.
Yes.
Burns last night when I was at the school board meeting, that was probably one nice thing I said. So, he's doing a
Before
great
anything else, yeah.
So thank you for your
Sure.
leadership on that, because it's great for the youth in this county.
Yep. I agree.
And when she was asked if they had people that helped with resumes and job interviews, she said that they did. So I don't know if they'll actually be there or if it's gonna help them behind the scenes.
So what in our planning meeting with the school, Travis and Stacy and I met, and they said they don't think they're gonna do that for this particular one.
Okay, thank you.
They do intend on doing more of these, and with the big turnout they have right now, it just plans to be.
I think it's twice a year.
pretty good.
We had talked about doing it twice a year, so I'm
So
glad
I
that
think
matches.
and she's the one who runs for the school, the interviews, the mock interviews.
Right, she's the new CTE coordinator.
Correct.
Yeah.
Let's see, then we got the kayaks map distribution. Driving around, I went to Fredericksburg Welcome Center and then thinking I could just dump some brochures for the kayak off there.
How'd that go for you?
She told me, no, not so fast. Bottom line, it's to do it, it's a year-long registration for
Oh, my
$120.
goodness.
You have to pay $120 per welcome center. I'm just passing that information to you there. She recommended we go to her welcome center. And there's another one at the Nova Gateway on I-95 North in Carolyn County. And that'll handle the southbound, I'm sorry, the northbound. The Virginia Welcome Center in Fredericksburg will handle southbound entrance. That was her recommendation, but it's gonna be, to do both of them, it's $240 total for the year.
Well, you know what, let's take a look at our budget, because there's some money, yeah, there's some money in there we didn't spend. And I know we're looking to save a little bit, because the board of supervisors did vote to sponsor something for the golf tournament, so I wanna make sure it's neutral. Like that the EDC isn't busting
Right.
anyone's budget. So can you take a look to see,
I will, that's a
If we
due out
have-
from last time that I
yeah,
haven't,
two hundred
I haven't
forty.
done.
I think we can cover it, but I also wanna make sure we're not,
Sure.
especially if we end up, if we don't end up with the interns that we thought we were gonna
Yes.
get. Are we looking for interns on Thursday? We were looking for college interns. Are we looking for interns on Thursday?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so then the next thing is Howland Chapel, the Howland Chapel School. So just a little background on it. First Baptist Church did approve unanimously to go forward with the Civil War Trails signage. Now they're at the point where the Civil War Trails organization said, hey, once you get the agency that's going to be sponsoring this or funding this, then we'll start giving you all the forms that need to be filled out for all the brochures. So they're in the process, they being the First Baptist Church, the Howland Chapel School, are in the process of, there's a flyer, if you'll, I'm passing those around, came from Algira, requesting donations. So pass those around in your districts. They're trying to raise up the money so they could be able to pay for the signage. They're also working, and this is new to me, they're seeking a Virginia 250 Tourism Marketing Program grant. I was under the impression, when you and I met, Melissa, that one time at church, I was under the impression that was not eligible because that was not Civil War related, that was more revolutionary. That's what I thought I heard from Lisa Hall. But the fact that they're pursuing it,
All you can do is ask.
Well, yeah, I mean, because most grant funds are just on park right now anyway, so
good.
all you can do is
All
chase
you
it.
can do is ask.
So, yeah, I'll continue to reach out to Algeria and get some more updates on that.
Okay,
I've got three more things. They're from the previous meetings. I'm working with Robert on the generic EDC email address.
Yeah.
I think we have a way, just got to get that set up. We did talk to David Woolard about the municipal sewage. He couldn't make it this week because he's at a conference, but he said he'd probably make it within the next two meetings. So I'll keep following up with him, and you guys will see that on the agenda when I put it up. And I need to still follow up between Drew and I, following up on your request about the updates on the digital maps unless.
Thank you, because I was gonna bring it up.
Drew's- And having said that, that's my segue over to
I'll wait for the chair to.
All right, that's it, Bob?
Yes.
Any questions on anything that Bob raised that we haven't already asked? All right, county administrator.
So I have an update on the GIS mapping. I spoke with Luxural and Stewart this morning, and this is what we have. We're currently looking at potentially using a third-party vendor to complete the project, finalize and get us up to date, and then the county would maintain the zoning and tax parcel updates in-house. We're reaching out to Interactive GIS to see if they could help with this or offer some possible vendors we could contact to get some pricing data to help move forward. Stewart's making progress on getting the zoning layer updated. Currently, he has completed the first pass on 47 of the 54 tax maps so far, 9 of them within the last month. And when I say first pass, he's going through and just by tax map, but where the maps butt up to each other, there may be some parcels that overlap that might have split zoning, dual zoning, whatever. So
Yep,
he's got
sure
to
there
go
is.
back and tie that back in. in the second pass. So that's why we're saying first pass there. We have contracted with the Interactive GIS for an online GIS mapping platform and are currently using that online internally. So far, we have what we have on that platform are the 911 addresses, roads, tax maps, land book information, voting districts, and multiple years of aerial photos on the platform, and are currently working on updating the zoning layer. And side note, there's a zoning classification field on the tax maps in the online GIS now, but that field is out of date and is being revised. The county-only GIS website is currently used internally and has not yet been released to the public. And he is extending an invitation to individual commission members are welcome to come by the county offices and show you how that tax map, how that website works for online GIS. And he did add a reminder, according to state law, the county has only one official zoning map, and that is located in the building and zoning office. Additionally, the county has only one official tax map, and that is located in the real estate office of the Commissioner of Revenue.
Yes, that's the official map. If we
Yes.
want to get some economic development in, right? So if you remember, John, this was the project that we asked because we want people to be able to look up online. So that was very thorough. Thank you very much. This is the same GIS team that was messing up the 911 addresses that you guys are getting fixed, correct? This is the same GIS contract for which the emergency team had to come to the Board of Supervisors meeting a couple of weeks
No.
ago? No.
No, different.
Okay, all right. So what I heard there in all that very official language is good news. Stuart is in the process of updating the maps. There is an exploration underway. So the county already has an IT capability that can do this. It's not turned on yet. So
It's
the
not
county is,
Hold up yet.
right, and it's not, the county's looking at the cost for what it would be to update that. As a caveat, the official map is what's over there. But this would become an unofficial way where if we had businesses that were interested in the county to look to see what the zoning looked like, they could do it from anywhere in the country or the world. They wouldn't have to trail into the courthouse to do it.
Just to have, I mean, it would give them the opportunity to look on the web and say, okay, this particular area is zone whatever, and that's what I'm looking for. Then they would need to go, okay, this is a particular tax map parcel that I'm looking at potentially acquiring to do something. It says yes, but they would still need to contact building and zoning to verify.
Right,
that
but
it's
for
correct.
discovery and market research purposes,
Correct.
we can have people outside, drivable distance, looking to see if they want to come here for business purposes, which is
That's
part of what we're trying to do with the June 21st event, part of what we're trying to do. So,
That's what we're building to with what he's doing with the maps
Okay.
currently, and in an attempt to maybe see if we can move that along faster. They're trying to contact third parties to see if anybody else could take that off of his plate to get us caught up in current, where we could have it.
and once that exploration is done, then the county would need to budget for this.
Correct.
So is there, anything we need to write up? It may be premature, and I don't know what the planning commission feels about this. Is there anything that the EDC would need to do or suggest doing with respect to the benefits of such a tool, or do we just sit tight for now and wait for things to unroll?
Based on the progress that he's making, I would say just kind of get your arrows in your quiver, but don't string your bow yet.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
That makes
I mean,
perfect sense.
Just
Yep.
know what you want to have ready, but at
Okay.
the same time, while we're gathering pricing data, if it comes back and it's a realistic price to do it, then it might be something that gets trigger pulled on sooner, as opposed to if it's something more expensive and we have to go the RFP route to determine how we can move forward.
That's anything over 5,000, right?
No,
No,
no.
okay.
5,000 and under can be done administratively. 5 to 30, I would say requires 2 written.
Right, so
quotes.
anything 30 over has to be RFP, okay.
No, anything over 100 has to be over 100.
Oh, please, this better not come in.
But 30 to 100 is, you gotta have at least 4 quotes.
Is this of use to
Written.
your work?
Well, it
too?
is, I was just gonna suggest, Drew, if you could have Stuart write up a paragraph to add to the land use plan and the comprehensive plan. I don't recall that it's mentioned right now. It's clearly a very valuable resource for the comp plan, yeah.
Mhm. Okay, so good.
Can you repeat what you want me to ask?
Ask Stuart to prepare a paragraph to describe what this is and use for it in the comprehensive plan.
Can I interpose a question, John? I guess you'd probably be the best one to answer this. The last time I saw the county, and I got it about 5 years ago, and it was consisted of 3 pages, and it was basically the by right uses of the different zonings. In other words, if it's residential, you can do this, this, this. If it's commercial, you can do this, this, this. Has that been changed or edited?
There were minor updates done in the fall, where the Board of Supervisors asked to do it. We did do some very minor modifications, and we added some solar stuff to it. So it is updated, but it didn't significantly change.
Is it, Drew, could I get a copy of that? I would like to have a copy of it.
What was it again? I'm sorry.
It's actually, it's a zoning ordinance, really, or not the ordinance in totality, but it's like it's a
table that
Yeah, table that
describes what
describes.
each of the zoning code means.
The old one was very well done.
Exactly.
It was very well done, and I could see, why I would like to have an updated one. If you're talking to prospective business people, that dovetails right into what you're doing with this.
So copy of the table of zoning codes.
Thanks.
Yes, I'll get with.
Nice, thank you, thank you, thank you.
That was everything I had.
Okay, great.
Well, and on a high note. Question back on the welcome centers. Robert, there were 2 that she proposed, both were in Northern Virginia, Fredericksburg and North.
Correct.
Isn't there, what about 64 going down toward Virginia Beach or west?
Her comment about Virginia Beach, she said, her thought was, you're probably getting more people interested in going down to the Virginia Beach area than you would
Coming
up here.
Okay,
I took pictures of the center too. They got a really nice display of different regions of Virginia. And she showed me where ours would go. Kind of
we
like
can see what we can do with the 2
Very
that
big.
she suggests. How do we track? I don't know, how do we know if it's worth it next, like if we do this for the 240, right? If you research it and we bring it back for a vote, how do we know how to?
Yeah, we don't. That's a great point, and that's one of the shortcomings of, one of the things you learn the hard way is, it would have been nice if we had some type of feedback on those brochures that they could reach back to us.
Does the
someone picks
brochure
up the
have
brochure.
our QR code? Right, we don't, I thought we had
It
some,
does.
right, because we can then see how many time, like, there has to be some kind of data analytics with the QR code.
Yeah.
And if we put this out and then all of a sudden we get a jump, we can make it could be a spurious correlation, but it could also be a real one.
Yeah.
So if you can see what's going on with our QR code and how many times already it's been downloaded, and I'd like to also see the same thing for when it starts getting used for the website for the junior golf tournament.
If you had a unique QR code for the welcome centers, that would tell you for sure exactly how many people are picking it
Yeah.
up.
Oh.
A unique QR code for the Welcome Center.
But then the brochure's already printed.
Yeah.
Well, no, you'd have to start over again.
Okay.
basically.
Yeah.
That's gonna cost us, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's good to know for the future. Yeah, right now we have the same QR code for everything, which, at least we have a QR code. So if you can,
I'll ask her about the 64 as well too, and say
Yeah.
we're also considering that.
and then find out any analytics you can on the hits on the code, because I'd like to have a baseline now, so
Mhm.
that before it hits the AJGA website, like, we can see what happens there.
Yeah.
And then also when this hits. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Let's see. That's it, Drew? Very nice.
That's nice.
All right. Now, current projects. Maurice, we'll go back to you now for the grants. You want to-
There's not a whole lot to report on it. Still seeing a lot of the same things I saw last year. The federal government is this close to being useless for grants, for our content. And like I said, it's not a finished
Yeah,
product.
there's a whole lot of other grants out there
There's-
that aren't federal
it's-
government.
Trust me,
Okay.
the federal government is just the top of the pyramid. It's got very little real estate. The state has, at least on the websites, it appears that they have a lot, although I did hear a comment on the radio a while back from Governor Youngkin concerned about the statewide impacts of some of the shakeup at the
Right,
Fed. So
but-
that's future problems.
Yeah,
that-
we've got grants that they,
There's grants that
clearly
that are
have.
currently being advertised. But again, without a project, we are really close to the closing time of some of the application windows. Most of them have twice a year windows.
okay,
Not all of them, but, as I mentioned before, we need to have some kind of project in mind, either county solely, because there's avenues for that, hybrids where you've got private people mixed with the county, and then other folks that are just looking for, like, there's one scenario I saw, and forgive me if I don't pay it enough detailed attention, but, it looks like if some company came in here and the scope of the impact on, for example, the roads, can't be met with either the person, the company that's doing it or the county, there's grants to cover a lot of the infrastructure impacts. If it's a deal breaker for the corporation to come in and it's not there, there's a little opportunity in there for a little chunk of money, not a whole lot, but, so it would be really great to do this kind of exploration if there was a target in mind, a target project, but we don't have one right now. So the best I can do is just get familiar with what's going on.
no, that's great.
I did stumble on some foundations, that are willing to give money, not just to private sector, but also to help out counties that may or may not have the wherewithal to do what's needed in order to get them developed economically. And there's a lot of stuff out there for economic development. Sadly, where the state of Virginia is concerned, there's a road that you have to walk to kind of get there from here. You have to have the project, you gotta get it ready.
That makes sense. I don't want people handing us money we don't have.
Right,
It's
right.
ridiculous. So I
Because that's
agree.
tax money.
Right.
No matter how you slice it, that's
And you're
tax.
never gonna get me to disagree on that. So, no, I think it's great that you've done this research because like Stuart mentioned at the Board of Supervisors meeting last week, they had projects, like we're doing improvements to one of those projects, and then he happened to find this grant that you could also do this with, but there were deadlines. So right now, we don't have those projects. That doesn't mean once we explore the Main Street and if we, we still have our own money right now that we have with those loans out there. Right now, I don't think that we've got people that we need to help. At the same time, it's good to have it because if somebody does come in and says, can the county do anything to help dig this well, right? We then would be able to say, we can't, but you could apply for this grant that could do something. And of course, anytime we get a grant or propose a grant, you have to go to the supervisors for approval, so we know if there's any match or not. So it's great to have all this in advance.
The thought that occurred, and you know me, the thought that occurred to me that it might be better to assemble some kind of data entity and automate some of this knowledge that I'm gathering rather than make my eyes go crossed after 3 days of looking at my computer.
Feel free to get whatever volunteers you want together and do it. I'm not gonna get in disagreement with
I'm
me.
gonna,
And
I'll just do it myself.
contacting you as well. 'Cause
Excuse me?
I said, I'll contact you as well, because I've been researching, and I did speak with USDA regarding their grants as well, because of course we had.
USDA shows up a lot.
Yeah, and we had I know that we're meeting with, Jerry, is it Jerry?
Paul?
Jerry,
From Northern
No,
Planning
the-
District.
Yeah,
Yes,
Jerry.
yeah,
Yeah,
Jerry.
right?
yes.
I think it's,
Davis.
oh, Davis,
Okay.
Davis.
Jerry, oh,
It's
it's
Davis.
not ringing a bell, and I know I'm getting older. But, so we met with, we're gonna be meeting with him regarding the grant, the Community Development Block Grant. So we're gonna be meeting this month.
That was yesterday.
Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, it's so much. Okay, so because USDA stated that they have, a lot of people took the early retirement and said, see you later. So therefore, they're doing a lot of work with half the staff. And right now, with the grants on hold, they have more loans. But as far as with the grants, don't know. So what did Jerry say?
We're kind of in a hold mode
Yeah,
for
and I
grant
figured-
side as well, 'cause
I-
waiting for HUD to determine what they're gonna be able to push down to DHCD to know
Right.
what's gonna be in the book.
And that's what I've been telling some of the consumers that have approached, and I've held on to the applications because, they can complete it, but it's just parked for now. And some of them have already filled out the applications, but there's nothing that we can do. So,
Could they be qualified for any of these other grants that are outside the federal government?
Quite possibly.
Would they?
well, it's for, the 50, the 504, 502, and then, of course, what HUD, of course, but what's happening now, these are the federal grants.
Right,
So now, as far as with the state, I don't know what Jerry did, because most of the community development block funds and also the 502 program for the home repair, whether you want windows or a wheelchair ramp, those type of grants were coming from the federal.
well, that's where most people were going. So
Right.
my question is, are there alternative sources that we've surfaced that maybe could do the same
Okay.
thing?
Yeah.
So can we get together?
That would be a good thing to do,
Lori?
because then we can start pushing people towards these
Yeah,
other sources.
exactly,
Yeah.
because other than
In
that, they're
fact,
just
I
sitting
just-
idle.
Yeah.
And it's not- so that meeting-
One that might be exactly up that alley is to
Yeah.
help aging people.
Exactly, and that's what we were
Um,
trying to do, and it was 62.
In particular, one that I
Yeah.
saw was about older people with neurological deficits.
Exactly, yeah.
So there might be a clearinghouse, right?
Yeah,
So,
it has
yeah.
to be because of the fact that there was one that just, just to see it made me just tear up the way this lady was living. So I had 2 contractors over there this week trying to repair her house, and I'll pay for it out of my pocket. Because of the fact that this is ridiculous, for you to live like that. And, I can't wait for the grant.
Not from, yeah, let's
Yeah.
look and see what other things, other foundations are giving those kind of grants.
Karen, can I just add something, and I don't know if it's germane for Maurice to look into this or not, but I would like to get Drew's institutional knowledge on this. So the county received a $888,000 grant to upgrade the sewer system in Callio and Reedville. That was several years ago. It's not a question, it's a statement of fact, okay? Now, I am being told that there is no more capacity for expansion. And I guess what I'm saying, what Bree said is you gotta have a target. Say again,
Expansion of what?
of the sewer systems.
Okay.
The capacity is all used up. Although there hadn't been anything additional hooked to it. So my question is, along these grants, you said USDA, I think USDA was the one that funded.
USDA and.
Were you there, Drew, when, I beg upon your institutional knowledge, how did that grant come about? And I guess why Karen, it's gonna sound like like I've got a real case of the question marks on this. I can tell you, I know of a developer recently that was willing to put a substantial amount of housing investment dollars into Callio and walk away from it because they were told that the capacity of sewer has been taken up.
So I thought that's the reason that we were inviting the sewer guy to the meeting.
Yeah,
Yes.
but my point is, he's not gonna tell us I can just tell you, Dave's not gonna tell you anything that I don't already know. That's all I want to hear, so the rest of you all can hear it.
I want to hear it.
I don't know what the question is, I'm sorry.
The capacity of the sewer systems in Reedville and Callio, if we all agree as a body, and Maurice and I have had this discussion privately, all the stuff that we're doing is great stuff. But you cannot grow businesses if you do not have commercially available land that has no infrastructure for waste disposal, period. It's a no starter for anybody. These folks have wanted to put in a substantial amount of dollars in housing infrastructure here. And this was recently, this was within the last 30 days, walked away from it because they're basically being told that the capacity is used up by the laundromat in Callio.
Right.
And that's right.
75% of the consumption.
It's right. So I guess what I'm saying from the District 1 Commissioner, if we have all talked about that Reedville and Callio are going to be the epicenters of business for the county, then to me, that's the target.
I still don't know the question. Are you looking for a
I think,
USDA grant, are you looking?
no, I think we
I'm not
would
sure.
be, I think the question is,
there capacity or is it not?
That's what I thought, that's why I thought we were inviting the sewer
So
guy.
it's more than.
it's
just
more than
capacity.
that, it's more than that.
It's,
Help me, 'cause
The
I'm not-
system-
what is the capacity today what is the state of the capacity?
But I thought that's why the sewer guy was coming. What's the guy's
That
name?
is.
Yeah.
David Moore, I thought that's why we were having the
Willard.
discovery session.
Willard, it is.
Right, David Willard.
But what, Karen, what I'm suggesting is that the question should be, I think, you said it correctly, there should be a target with these grants. Look, it's gonna boil down to one of two scenarios. Either the county is gonna have to reach in, which ultimately affects all the taxpayers, and they're gonna have to spend some serious money to get the capacity equal to what's already zoned for commercial purposes. Or there's gonna have to be grants like already took place. So my question, the reason for asking it to Drew was that, you know, you've got institutional knowledge here. When that grant took place, and I read a good bit about the grant, okay? When that grant took place, what was the impetus for that? What got that moving? Who took point? Where did USDA get involved in it? How did they approach us? Did we approach them out of
We have
necessity?
to approach it them, because
Yeah,
they don't
we
know
had
the
to
damn.
approach that.
I kind of walked in and inherited that when I started here, that was already, the funding had already been secured and the project had already started. As far as the engineer had already designed it, had already been bid out to the contractor, and they had already started some of the work when I started here, so my backside knowledge of what that
Okay, so-
process.
To get you off the hook on this, can we please ask
David.
David.
David, I don't know
So-
why, can we please ask David when he comes for the discovery session? If he can please provide us the history
Mhm.
of how Callio and Reedville were A, selected to be those 2 points, I think it was a study. B, what preceded the development of those 2 systems in terms of not only how they were selected, but how they got going. And also any analysis that was done to identify what the potential capacity would need to be, because if the capacity is now exceeded, you'd want to look back at that prior analysis. Like, I don't, if you're saying that a business was just turned away because they couldn't develop sewer, like, that didn't come to the board of supervisors, I don't know if it came to the planning
No,
commission.
it was at the zoning directors, area when they questioned about the sewer capacity. Now, and again, the issue with the sewer capacity is, I would just like to add a question that, you know, for somebody to look at. And again, I am basing these questions on research that I have done, and I could be very well missing something, and I'm just gonna find out the answer. That grant, that $888,000 was divided between the Reedville plant and the Callio plant. I remember when they got it. I've been involved in business through Callio there. And there's not too many people who know Callio any more than I do, because it's pretty small area, okay? I do not know of even one additional sewer tap that was done post that grant and capacity increase on there. So,
Capacity that increased or demand?
well, that's my point. My point is,
Can we,
let me just make this point. I know you want to go on, okay, but it is important. Because I'm telling you, I'm going on record here and telling you right now, we are wasting our time if we do not really put some emphasis on this sewer.
okay, we don't have the people here who can answer the question and provide the background.
Mhm.
I actually don't think a job fair is a waste of time. I don't think what we're doing with the golf tournament is a waste of time. I get, Dan, that there's larger fish to fry here. I'm not disagreeing with that. We've talked about this consistently. We don't have the people that can answer the questions. So can we wait until they get here and then just,
I have no problem with that. What I'm saying back to Maurice's point, I don't think there's anything preemptively wrong while Maurice is looking into that. I mean, I'm just trying to say plain English, that's the target. That should be the number one target that this body,
okay, so
Let's
Maurice,
look
can you
for-
please look to see if there's grants available outside the federal government for development of sewer and septic? And question, what is, if any, the planning commission's involvement here?
A lot, because everything they spend is capital money, so we're
that's-
considering their capital budget for next year right now.
So the things that go through my mind when I'm doing this work is that, A, it's glaringly obvious to me that, rather than have silos or what appears to be nearly silos between the various entities in the county, the planning commission and the EDC, I don't see us as being separable. We operate, we look at different sides, but it's still the same coin. And so we're dependent on them and they're actually dependent on us for feedback. And it's for this particular purpose because the infrastructure is geographically distributed. We need to have a handle on zoning. We need to have a handle on county assets, the old buildings that are still there and could potentially be used for something. There's grants for that. There are grants for that. But we have to have eyes
What does
across
that
the
mean?
aisle.
Talk about what that means. Does this mean another joint meeting? Do you guys want, when,
Yes, it needs a joint meeting.
David, okay, wait, hang on one second. When David comes to this meeting, do you want the leadership of the planning commission invited? Do you want David to talk about a joint meeting? You guys are in the middle of your planning, your long-term plan on here. Because what I don't want is David to come talk to the 3 people, 4 people around this table and
need to
not
talk
have
to
the
other
planning
people.
commission.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
what do you think would be a way for us to proceed?
You could certainly do an invitation for a joint meeting. I will tell you, there'll be some reluctance for some people on the planning commission to come because they've just kind of given up that we're ever gonna have a significant investment in sewage capacity here. They've given up on Heathville.
Reality may argue with them and win.
What we do at the margins in Cali and Reedville are 2 different matters. Maybe there's possibilities there. It would be worthwhile here. I've been involved because I'm on the subcommittee that handles capital budgeting. And we had Dave in, we've got the latest. I asked him point blank, what's the capacity in Reedville? He said there is capacity, significant capacity, except during the summer. It's the short-term rentals. And there, it gets a little dicey. Cali, we didn't get into because the laundromat's an enormous issue over there.
It is, it's an enormous issue. It's huge.
So if we're gonna have this discovery session, it has to be an announced meeting, because if we're gonna invite the full planning commission, or if we're gonna invite the leadership, or if we're gonna invite particularly the representatives from those 2 districts, you're hitting a special called meeting, right? How many members are on the planning commission?
9 currently.
Okay, so there's 9, so if there's 2 for each district, right?
Hmm.
So if you have 2, 4, if you have 5 involved, then that's a quorum. So this isn't, if that's the route we want to go, I want to know, because we need to have a special called meeting and we need to announce it.
Let me just throw this out there.
Consider it as we initially started as a discovery session. And the others from the other commissions could attend. From that, there could potentially be a motion made, we need to begin.
Absolutely, because I think John,
I like that approach.
I like that approach too, because John, I mean, you're with us every meeting just about.
Right, but there's a public notice requirement. If you're gonna have a quorum of both groups there and both groups.
That's what I'm saying, don't do
What
it.
he's saying is you don't necessarily
Don't
have to
do it.
require
You guys saying that
It's
we
an
should-
invitation, it's not a.
A discovery session.
All right, Drew, can you please check on that? I'm not comfortable with that right now.
And I understand you have to consider that, and I feel like for clarification, if we do a discovery session in this EDC meeting with Mr. Woolard to answer questions, we can invite 2 or 3 of the leadership of.
No, what you would do is
Commission.
invite Chris Crowell from District 1 and the two folks from District 5.
Yeah, that's
As long as
correct.
we keep them under their
They
quorum.
have to be under quorum.
Right.
You can't.
Yeah, well, those are the only 2 areas that had sewer.
Right,
Yeah,
but just, I wanted to be clear that.
yeah.
For not
Yeah.
having anything special.
I
done,
yeah.
and if we need
I
to-
understand the point.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree, 100%.
You don't need a quorum of multiple entities showing up for the same meeting without a notice.
And frankly, John gets it. I mean, I would be satisfied if just John was participatory in it.
Okay, so we're gonna plan it for when he can be here. When it is planned, then you'll let Stuart know, and those 2 reps will be invited. And John can share with the group that it's a discovery session for the EDC. A few of the planning commission members are invited. But this is not a joint meeting.
Drew, can I just ask one question? Because I don't want to see, because I wouldn't want to be put in that position myself. I don't want to see Mr. Woolard backdoored or caught off guard. If he could be given this, I don't know if you would, the additional questions that I would like to know, because I think it is germane to the central point of what did we get accomplished with that grant? I would like to know how many additional taps were made in both Callio and Reedville. And I would also like to know with the laundromat thing, because I looked at the fee schedule, and John, you might know more about this. There's not a heck of a lot more difference in the fee schedule with that laundromat than there is the other commercial businesses. At least that's what it looks like on the chart.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I do know about Omega in District 5. And they're paying way more than their fair share rightly, and they're doing a great job at the laundromat.
Yeah.
I don't think, the way it should work is that when you reach a certain point, the rates should escalate substantially based on volume. Now,
Right.
whether that's the case. So I don't know.
Yeah, and just so nobody gets the wrong idea, I don't advocate anybody closing any business. We don't need any businesses closed. But I just think the grant stuff, Maurice, to me, that's the number one target.
Infrastructure throughout is the primary target, because it's not just that particular aspect, we've got
Yeah.
power and others.
Okay, so you've got it, Maurice, right? We've got, and again, we can review the tape we need for the questions. So whenever David is invited, we're gonna make sure that those questions he can get a chance to review this conversation on tape and get ready. We'll make sure that your reps are invited, you're here, and then it will be a discovery session with special invitees. Maurice, you're gonna continue to explore what options other than federal are available for, I would say, water and waste. I would not go full transportation, because then you start getting into a whole lot of other things. And again, we want to keep it manageable. So we're going to continue to do the work that we're doing on these other places. And then the work that if we're looking at, again, still Callio and Reedville as hubs, the issue about the summer rentals, I didn't know. So that may limit what can be done in Reedville. And then that will be a discovery session, and after that meeting, you'll be able to help us understand what grants are.
It'll help me do the work back
Right.
too.
For that particular topic, and then you are gonna connect and
Yes.
see if there's any housing types of grants that are outside. Again, let's look outside federal scope. Okay, Drew, I'm sorry, you had a
I
question.
was gonna ask if anybody has specific questions that they want me to get to Mr. Willard, if you could email me directly individually so I can get a hold of this for him. That way, in case you had something that you meant to ask tonight that you didn't,
Yeah,
we will make sure we have an.
absolutely. And we owe him that level of respect as a county employee. He needs to not be backdoored by somebody.
I sent him the invite, I sent him a couple questions.
Yeah.
Not as much more detail as what you provided, but we'll update this question.
And we're gonna clean the rest of the agenda, because I don't suspect that you guys are gonna let this go for only 30 minutes.
Oh, no.
No.
Right, but this is not gonna become a hearing for this guy, all right?
No,
I'm gonna control this meeting.
He's a friend, we don't want to make him a
Right,
not
this is
friend.
gonna be a discovery session that is relevant to the
He is an exemplary
EDC,
employee. Yeah,
right?
that's
And it's
a very good
relevant
guy.
to the EDC writ large. Because otherwise this is gonna devolve into something that it shouldn't be, so.
For my purposes, all I want to know is, in detail, where are we?
I don't know what in detail means, and that's what I want to avoid, right? So be like, I don't want to know at this address if it's got sewer, this one got sewer. That's not what we're here for.
I've briefed generals and admirals, I can do this.
Okay, I'm gonna hold you to it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, so we got other projects. So the golf tournament you already covered, that's okay. The grants we've already covered. Business cards, you guys all have business cards, thanks to Morgan, she pulled those together. If we need more, we can get more.
What a
No
good,
cost to
what
those.
a good
So-
job she did.
Yep.
That's awesome.
And Mary is standing by to actually give us IDs, like a name tag we can wear. She'd like a photo, so what I'm gonna ask, either I'll take a photo tonight up against the wall, or you guys send me a picture of you that you like that has a neutral background.
And the sheriff's department is perfect.
I was
know,
gonna say, they have a great camera.
right? Yeah, so we
They
can,
got lines behind you though.
Since I just recently got a haircut, maybe we take.
right,
mine.
so I can do it against the wall here, and then I can send them all over to Mary, or if you guys want, you can send them to Mary, and she can put that together, so we'll have name tags, and I think it's important for us to get them at least by the June 21st event, or the 22nd, sorry. So we are making progress on that, photo IDs, so the event for June 21st that I've kind of been working on, excuse me, over here, I'm struggling a little because I have a competing event that day that I cannot miss. So this event's gonna be mainly in the morning. I'm still thinking about getting 3 primary industries involved, probably no more than 4. So I'd like to make sure that somebody else can be with me at that farmer's market on the 21st. When it's set up, so that when I do have to scoot, the businesses aren't gonna need us there, but I just wanna make sure that there's some representation there.
Farmers market,
The 21st of June, so just look at your calendars and see if y'all can be there. There's, the career fair we talked about already, that's this Thursday. I already told the school I'd be stopping by between 12 and 12:30. I don't wanna be there when, the kids are gonna be rolling through, I think, between 1 and 4.
1 and 3.
1 and 3, excuse me, and they're gonna be rolling through at multiple grades at different intervals, and I do not wanna be there when they're doing that, because I think it's important for the kids to be able to roll through, particularly if they're looking to hire, so, I told them I'd show up around anywhere between 12 and 12:30, just to say hi to folks, and if Jacob's gonna be there, I wanna particularly thank him too. Cause they've done a pretty good job on that, so I think, oh, and I'm still working on pulling together the handout that we can give businesses about why come to business here, like, you know, the short thing we had talked about in terms of, this is the county profile, this is what we have, we've been talking about that for a year and a half, and I still haven't gotten it done. I've looked and looked at other counties to see what they have, and everything they have is online, there's no handouts. So I'm just gonna have to create one, because we want a handout.
Karen, on the 22nd, if I can interject,
Yeah.
you said you wanted to do that in shifts. Do we want to establish that now? For plan, so I can plan and.
We don't have the
Yeah.
times right now. So the 21st, I know, is gonna be the hours of the farmer's market. So it'll be for setup for the farmer's market. I think that gets done at noon, I'm not sure. But we won't need people there, I think, for the closeout. I think it's only the beginning. I don't know what the times are yet for the 22nd.
So you just need some help on the 21st around noon.
No, we're gonna wanna be there to welcome the people, and I can be there at the early shift. And so, go ahead.
If I may, you're talking about the 21st, which is,
I'm talking about the 21st now, because you said you
The
did.
21st is the farmer's market event. That's where, we're not gonna need to help set up, but I'd like to have at least one other person there from the EDC so that can say, hey, thank you for coming. And I don't know, I think the farmer's market's open at 8. I'll have to check. So I need to check on the time on that.
Just let me know. I mean, Sunday is no problem. Saturday, usually I've got events going on at the event center, but I can probably get away to help you.
So if I can cover it and then we don't need anything, then I won't need any more help, so I'll let you know for sure on the
Okay.
time. So that's my goal, is just to be there to welcome everybody and then scoot to my other thing. And then I can't imagine that people will have questions, but if they do, it's just nice to have a face there from the EDC. And I have not connected with the Woodworkers Guild yet. I still have to meet with Corrine to try to get all those connections made. So I'm behind that 8 ball on that one, but it isn't, not till June 21st, so yeah, maybe a little bit of time. And then the brochure is the one that bothers me the most, because I'm just not sure. I wanted to model it on something, and I haven't been able to find anything yet that's still in handout form. So it'll get done.
Okay.
It'll get done, and you're gonna have to look at it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think for current projects, that's all we had. Did I miss anything?
There's one more thing I had, which was on the 21st, I'm sorry, Thursday, this Thursday?
This Thursday.
Okay, what time you going to the school?
I'm gonna go there between 12 and 12:30.
Okay, because they get out Thursday, don't they? Don't they, is it an early release this Thursday for Easter?
not that I'm aware of.
Okay. 'cause I
They
thought
didn't
the
make
sign
any
said
indication,
18th.
they didn't make any indication like that.
18th, 17th is Thursday.
Okay, 17th,
Yeah,
okay,
The job fair is on the 17th.
okay.
Yep.
Okay,
And so it's in the gymnasium at the school.
It's in the gym. That's correct.
okay.
I have a schedule conflict, so I won't be able to attend. If you could go there.
I'm gonna be there with Karen.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I'll get there as close to noon as I can, and then make sure that, again, we just walk around and say hi, and
Right.
I'll hand out some of the, there's nothing for us to hand out, but I've still got all those tablecloths, if they wanna use them, we can use them.
and I had, one person that came to me regarding the loans that we give. As
Oh,
far as
yeah.
starting a new business, and she wanted to know, the information and, how much it was and the guidelines and things of that nature. So of course I had to I told her that we'll be meeting and I would, let her know.
We've gotta look into that, cause I know
Exactly, because we haven't done that.
there's funding in the account, we haven't done it, the guidelines aren't updated, this is one of the things we've had on our list for the last 6 months.
Yeah.
The guidelines are outdated, and some of those funds, I don't know if they've been repaid, and I think we're gonna have to, so we'll need to talk to the county treasurer on that one.
Okay.
Okay, so I think probably you and I have to take an action item to just sit down with her and see, because if they're still giving out the loans, those guidelines definitely need to be updated, and I don't know what the new county guidelines would be. And I think Pam's office is the one that controls those funds, it's not the county administrator, it's the treasurer, I believe. Am I right or wrong?
I'm not 100% sure. I'll double check that for you.
Okay.
It's one or the other.
Yeah, I thought the documents that we got, when I had asked for them, they came from Ellen. I thought the funds were over there, but I'll go back and look at the email that I got, and then Drew, I'll send it over to you and Robert, just to make sure that it matches with what where you guys are, and then we'll have to take a lead.
Okay,
Get
sounds
together
good.
on that.
Okay, that's all I had.
Okay. Okay. Did we miss anything on current projects, anything else? Okay. All right, any new business?
I think we've rung that out
Yeah.
already.
All right, so now we're on to citizen engagement. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So, I'm Becky, and I am working on a project, of trying to put in a patio area, at 7072, right around the corner where Kathy's Corner is, and just took a picture of it, so, I was actually, out for a walk one day with a friend, and she had been a art teacher for like 20-something years, and she's an artist at the same time, and she paused right here in this area, and she's like, you know what would look really good right here? And I said, what? And she said, a mural and a seating area. And I was like, oh, you're right. So I just kind of took that idea and ran with it. And I talked to the landlord. I live upstairs. And I talked to the landlord about it, and he was okay with it. And so I started a GoFundMe also.
Oh, that's
To try to-
awesome.
To try to raise funds. I need to get this spread more. I don't know how many people are actually seeing it. And so I did have a $20 donation come in, but that was for me. I just wanted to get it started, but anyways, so the landlord, he's okay with it. He realizes that he has to sign something saying that it has to be used for public property for like 10 years, I think, and he's okay with that. So anyways, concerning the mural, I did get a grant for that, so.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations, amazing
Amount of money out there for that.
I got a grant for that, and Melanie Stimmel, she's done most of the murals in the Northern Neck, and she lives in Nevada,
Yes.
and we talk chalk. And so anyways, they're working on getting more people interested in getting murals done, so it makes it worth her while to come out. And so both walls there, I don't know if you noticed, but both walls, only one you can see, like this one you can't see from the highway, but this one you can. But from the seating area, you would definitely see this one. And but both, my goal is to have both of them done. And what we talked about is maybe she loves working with kids, so maybe the high school kids, she can get them started on this one and supervise it while she's working on this one that you see from the highway. And but that's, there's different possibilities, but both walls hopefully will have a mural. And I had Ashley and Brian, the Mennonite couple that do a lot of work in town. They came out and gave an estimate for this area. And Jake said that they were probably the cheapest, like in town, so they gave an estimate of $9,400 for the patio area, which would be either 22 by 30 or 32 by 20. But anyways, and then my goal is to get seating, like picnic tables, to match the colors on the mural. So the bright colorful tables that you see like in the park that have the thick plastic coating on it, either that or there's another kind that I don't see them around here, but I see them like in Tennessee, where they're real heavy plastic and it comes in all different colors. So one or the two, but they're both kind of pricey. And I do have, also with the murals, they would give me $1,000 to go towards a picnic table.
Wow,
So.
Wow, congratulations.
that's awesome.
And do you guys have any questions or anything?
Becky, I'm sorry, go ahead here.
No, go right ahead, John.
You said picnic table, do you envision people eating there, and where would they be bringing the food from? Their own, or there's not a lot of restaurants around there?
Subway. Subway.
Well, the bookstore's right there, so they can sit down and read a book.
There are people
Or
that
have a
work
coffee
there.
break, come
Yeah.
from the courthouse.
Yeah, but
Exactly.
you make a space and then people find use for it,
Okay.
you know? And then also, there's the farmer's market that goes on from, what, April to October, once a month. And then there's the wine festival, there's the strawberry festival, there's people walking the sidewalks all the time. And, so, yeah, I just see that space being used and it's, as taking a space that's doing absolutely nothing right now and making it useful and giving it a purpose and as beautifying.
As a beautification.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds to me like this is right in line with a lot of projects that I see online as I do my grant research, for Main Street. Virginia has a Main Street program, and you'll find, in a lot of the more successful programs, they'll do exactly what you're talking about, obviously on a larger scale. But there's a lot of that artsy kind of approach to renewing that which is old.
Mhm.
So I wish you luck on that.
I would like to applaud you for taking the initiative
Absolutely.
to do that. I mean, I wish we had more citizens, honestly, that would take ownership of stuff like that. And in fact, if you'll be so kind as let me take a picture of what you've got there, I will try to spread the word. And also, as an
We
alternative,
can have that.
thank you, as an alternative to, only if you want, we have a couple of landscapers that's in my district that they may very well have interest in where you're doing this nonprofit. They may have interest in doing something to help you out with that.
Oh,
I'd be happy to ask them if you'd like.
Okay, that would be wonderful. And that was another thing that I had in mind to say. There could be ways to get the price down some with the 9,400. Like someone was, I don't really do Facebook, but someone was telling me that they see on Facebook all the time people giving away bricks and patio pavers and stuff like that. So if I could, or even selling it for a cheap price. So if I could find something like that, it has to be enough to cover this
That whole area.
space. Yeah, the whole area. We could even do that, you know, and so there's,
There's an unofficial Northumberland County Facebook page.
Yep.
And, what I've done is I've made some anonymous posts.
Yeah.
So we could take your brochure.
I was gonna do that,
Okay.
yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
awesome,
Yeah,
yeah.
we can make
Yeah.
it anonymous.
Because, honestly, the social media marketing, this is perfect for that. Yeah, I think you'd be surprised. I mean, the only thing that I would ask of you, they're usually, I'm certainly very happy to help promote it. Is there a contact number, or is that, I don't see that on there, did I miss that?
Let's see. Well, actually, I'm not the most savvy with computers and stuff, so the lady at the bank, she made that up for me.
Oh.
I didn't realize she was gonna make it. She told me, so I went to the bank to set up an account for the GoFundMe, so it's separate from my money. And she said, I should do a QR code, and she said, if you need help with that, just stop by. So, I was like, could you show me how to do the QR code? And she's just typing away like for 15 minutes, and she's like, I'm almost done. And then when she was done, she came up with that. She did the whole thing for me.
So what you may want to do, so one, I wanted to ask, what we can help with, most of the time we can just broker. If you have time on Thursday, I don't know what your schedule is like, you may want to stop by the career fair, only because you want to introduce yourself to Stacy, who is the CTE, which is the technical education director. Sometimes you might be able to partner with a high school student that needs credit, and they can help you manage the technology on this
Okay.
and the aspect, like those aspects of it, because if you start putting your phone number out there, you're gonna get a lot of,
Yep.
you may get calls, you don't know what to do. If you start putting it on Facebook, people are gonna wanna know who to contact, so you may be able to find someone that needs some summer credit that could help you manage the technical and financial aspects of it while you're, doing that. And then the other question would be,
Let me see, I'm gonna write it.
yeah, so Thursday, I'd stop by if I were you anytime between 12 and 3, I think, if you want just to meet Stacy, I think that would be a good person to meet, and then you could
Okay.
kind of form that partnership. She would also be able to help put you in touch with the people that teach art at the school, and you could then, when the time comes, you could form that kind of partnership with
Okay.
you know, maybe getting some kids that get some credit for the actual murals or just want something to do. So what brought you to us today? Can I ask, like, what drove you to come to our meeting? We're very happy you're here and we're thrilled that you're doing the project. I just wanna make sure we're meeting your needs as
So
much as we can.
I reached out to Drew, back a couple of months ago, whatever, and, I was asking if there was any kind of grant, that, you know, for this project. And so then, we continued talking, like, as, I kept him posted of any developments, anything that changed, and then he told me to come to this meeting and just to present and see if there was anything out there.
So we have very small, like the grants we could do like this is what she was just talking about, we have to figure out, it's like $500. But I don't know if Maurice, if you've got anything that you
I
think.
don't have anything on this scale because what I've been looking at is usually county or partnership county
Okay.
with business. But not, I haven't seen anything.
There might
for
be some
nonprofit.
things from, like the River Arts, right, there's some art foundations that may be able to do some grants for this type of work. So I don't know if your artist mural friend would know about those, but there is, I know the school gets some grants from like the Rappahannock Art League and some others, and then I also think there's the RCCF, I'm not sure what their threshold is, but they do grants in the local area. That might be another one to look at, or have your high school student, you know, help you look at.
Okay.
And then I think isn't there a Richmond one, the River Arts Foundation, or something along those lines? And that might be able to help you get some of the funding that you're looking for as well.
Okay, so would that include the patio? Because I already have the mural covered.
No, I mean, this is for the,
patio. Okay.
right, it's an open space. Yeah, they do, but it wouldn't be for this. So it could be for the open space, right? Because it's taken together as a project.
Yeah.
It's a beautification and it's an art appreciation. So even if the mural's already covered, you've got this other piece that isn't, that would appreciate the mural.
Yes.
So that might be, I don't know, I don't know the answers, but there might be some places to chat.
We
Yeah,
did
they
reach
would
out
be.
to Lisa Hall with
Okay.
Genie Tourism to see what, any grants that she knew of, and she kind of gave us a little bit of direction to go.
okay.
So anything else that we have here is great additional. And
Yeah.
you gave me, we put two of these up in front of
Yes.
the courthouse, correct, in the little
Yes.
bulletin board?
That was gonna be my other suggestion,
Yeah,
put it up in the
Yeah,
courthouse.
we've already done
Okay.
those, put two on each side of it.
Great.
You mentioned GoFundMe. Have you looked into putting something up on Give Send Go?
Gibson Go, I never heard of that.
Okay.
Yes, he said he wouldn't.
So, yeah, so thank you very much. It sounds like it's
Here's
a
your
great
second
project.
donation.
Oh, thank
You're
you.
welcome.
It's a great project.
If you wanna put a contact number there, I'll promote it to the folks in our
Okay.
district. So now you have two donations.
So
Who's
any-
what's that agency that on the highway that sells patio furniture? Right before RW's, I think it is. You always see them display.
Across from the Mexican restaurant.
It's across from the
Yeah.
river.
Yeah, I mean, they may donate
Yeah.
furniture, but I don't
Yeah,
know
that's
how
exactly what I was
the
gonna say.
landscaping,
Approach
yeah.
See, they're willing.
You may be able to get some community donations for the furniture, but I don't know if you, yeah. So, did we answer some questions for you, or?
Did I leave anything
No,
out?
no, I think you're doing fine.
So, again, congratulate, this is a great project, thank you for bringing it to our attention, and hopefully you'll be able to get a little bit of support from, in addition to the money that was given to you.
Yes, thank you so
From
much.
some of the ideas that we shared.
Well, I'll add the Becky's tenant over Kathy's Corner, and I own Kathy's Corner.
Okay.
And I just think it's admirable of her to
Yes.
want the community show some improvement around, especially with the building that she's up against.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
You know, one of the things that may fall out from this is by doing this thing, she may encourage others without even saying it.
Absolutely,
Right, every little
absolutely.
bit, every little bit, yeah,
Yeah.
so thank you.
The murals, I just think that's just being participatory at arm's length when they did revitalization in Callio.
Yes.
That was a big deal. And that same lady that you got did those murals there. And, you know, I think what he said is right. If you do one, that would look so nice in the other buildings there.
Yeah, so the way I found Melanie is I was driving through Wakestone and there was one particular mural I really loved and I stopped And I went inside, I was at a restaurant, and I was like, could you tell me who did your mural? And they're like, well, we didn't have anything to do with it, the town of Whitestone did. So they told me to call the town of Whitestone, and I did, and I forgot who I talked to, but he was behind number 2, if you push 2. And and so anyways, he gave me Melanie's name, and so I contacted Melanie, and it just went from there, so.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you for being here for our meeting.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank you all.
All right.
Okay.
So I think with that, we're ready to, anything, all right, we're ready to adjourn. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
I'll take a second. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting is adjourned at 7:15. Thank you.